Okay, so this is gonna be like the last video I did where I said what I was currently reading, the books that I hold, and just gave you a little bit of an update. The newest channel update is that the channel now has a Twitter! Yay! Yay! I am now KK Book Nook on all one word. I'll link it down below. But I am now KK Book Nook on Twitter, where I'll be posting more channel updates, behind the scenes stuff. I really want to gain more of a community on there. I do love you guys being on here, and that's super helpful as well, but I feel like just to answer some questions and not clog up the comments with like just random questions and stuff, that's going to be the best way to contact me, just because I'll look more periodically at that. But that's very exciting. I had to do KK Book Nook because Caitlin Book Nook would not fit. But yay, we have a Twitter now. Oh, that's so exciting. But my current read that I'm obsessed, like, let me tell you, I have literally hung up a phone conversation with my boyfriend to go read this book. Like, I am so obsessed with it. It is Looking for Alaska. You can see that I've already started annotating it. I am doing that book for a present, so I really hope that the person who I'm doing it as a gift for does not know that this channel exists. But, hi if you are, and I just spoiled your birthday present, but that's okay. But no, I just love it. It's lewd and it's crude, which I know that sometimes that can be a little, out there, but it's just so funny. And it's written by John Green, which is the guy who wrote, The Fault in Our Stars. And it's such beautiful metaphors. Like, the writing is really good. It's just really dirty. And I love, Looking for Alaska has my heart. It might be one of my new favorite books. And I might give this book away as a present and then have to buy another copy for myself just because I love it so much. But without further ado, we will get into the book haul, which I know is mainly the reason y'all are here. I have a large bag of books. My school that I attend was doing the history club at the school that I attend, was doing a book sale of old books that, like, the teachers weren't using anymore, to try and gain money for their club. And I decided that I was going to purchase a few of them just because I might as well learn a little bit while I'm reading. Sometimes it's good to learn. The only book that I know that is in this bag, because this was a mystery bag, I did not look inside it. I made a promise to myself that I would not look inside it until this video. And then I have a couple of more wrapped books in here. But the one that I was able to see was 1066 and all that, by W.C. Seller and R.J. Yeatman. It's basically European history, as far as I'm aware. Yes, a memorable history of England comprising all the parts you can remember, including 103 good things, 5 bad kings, and 2 genuine dates. And it's just, like, 2 genuine dates. Like, normally history books are full of, like, here's when this happened, and but this is, like, funny history. And I'm so excited to be able to read it. And there's, like, illustrations in it and everything. Like, look, this is not a history textbook. Like, it's just, it's real facts, but it's funny, which is, if you're gonna teach me history, that's the way to do it. But, hold on, I didn't get see, there's these wrapped books in here, but we're gonna open those last, because those are exciting. But the first book we have in this bag is Controlling the Waves, Dean Acheson and U.S. Foreign Policy in Asia. If I need trouble sleeping, this might be the book. I'll just read the inside cover. From the beginning of American history to 1945, United States foreign policy had looked steadfastly eastward across the North Atlantic to Europe. This is going to tell you how much I read history books. Secretary of State Dean Acheson, when criticized for this seemingly preoccupation with the Old World, replied, "With Europe, everything was possible. Without Europe, nothing was possible." Yet after World War II, the reach of U.S. foreign policy widened vastly. In late 1945, Asia's traditionally controlling Japanese empire, the political and economic giant of the Far East, lay in ruins, pulled apart. Acheson had always known that Japan must continue to be the key to stabilizing Asia. Its reconstruction along the lines determined by the United States would finally allow us to control every wave in the Pacific Ocean. This is the story of how, for a time, such U.S. control was achieved. Dean Acheson served as Undersecretary of the State Department from 1945 to 1947 and as Secretary from 1949 to 1953. During this period, Acheson and his talented entourage, George Kennan, Dean Rusk, Paul H. Nitz, Max Bishop, and W. Walton Butterworth, were architects working not only to restore Japan as the workshop of Asia, but also to set in place the roles of Korea, Taiwan, China, and Indonesia, each to dance to an American tune. The broader aims of the policy were to reduce Japanese dependency on the United States, promote a broad-based Asian recovery, to expand U.S. trade throughout the region, and to bolster American relief from economic depression and contain the growth of communism in Asia. Thus, through shrewd, bare-knuckle diplomacy, Acheson and his little group laid the foundation for the resurgence of Japanese power and laid it almost too successfully. Acheson's vision, his intricate machinations in Japan, Taiwan, China, and Indonesia won the United States unprecedented influence in Asia, but the victory carried a great cost, for it was during this post-war period that the seeds were planted for the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the awkward U.S. commitment to defend Taiwan, and the American Cold War with China, not to mention a Japanese financial dominance that now threatens the economic balance of power throughout the world. Through brilliant research and synthesis, working with thousands of heretofore unexamined documents, Dr. Ronald McGlouston has added greatly to our understanding of a critical and complex period of American history and of the visionary man who shaped the world we now live in. Oh my god. So definitely, I understood a little bit of that. Guys, I promise I am smart. If you ask any of my friends, I have book knowledge. I understood half of what I just said. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. I really thought that this video was going to be like, ooh, let me unbox. But like, this book, whoever wrote this, Ronald McGloughlin. I butchered your last name, which I'm sorry for. But your book, dude, if you could write a more boring book to put me to sleep, I dare you, because I feel like this is all just gonna be like a snooze fest. I'm not a history buff. I don't know why I bought this many history books. I'm not a history buff. Maybe King James the sixth and first. I'm gonna say that's the sixth. Yeah, that's the Oh my god, here's where we figure out that I'm not that smart. I just pretend. King James the sixth and the first. So exciting. Okay, I don't know what this is about. It's not giving me a back synopsis, but I'm assuming it's about King James, and let's read a review. The James that is depicted is like the traditional figure, but is better described in more detail than in earlier biographies. He is kept thoroughly in the foreground, but the background of contemporary history is worth careful study for its own sake, even if the reader is not especially interested in James. Godfrey Davis, American Historical Review. So I'm having a feeling this is going to be another one where it's like, you know what? it could be interesting if you wrote it in a funny way. So I might just have to make jokes in my head and be like, ha ha ha, silly old white men. You know, you get it? You understand? Okay. The Jacksonian era from 1828 to 1848. Ooh. So this is obviously talking about President Andrew Jackson? That sounds correct. I could have made that up. But also, ooh, they have pictures. Look at it. It's old men in tights. The New York Historical Society, New York City. The polka. They dance to the polka. Oh, when you try and make an interesting book seem a little more interesting. I mean, it might not be too bad. I really wish that these had, like, back covers, because then I could actually, I'm gonna have to do a follow-up and be like, okay, that's what this book was about. Well, we should have 2 more in here. Order under law, readings in criminal justice. Ooh, hold on, this might be, oh, it doesn't look exciting. My brain went, ooh, it might be like, because I'm taking a criminal justice course. And originally I was like, oh, it's going to be like court cases, and we're going to have to like, we're going to like study in depth the court cases, you know? But no, it's just, courts, corrections, and it's not cops. Pretty much, I mean, that's what we're talking about is cops right now. But like, it's not that exciting. And this is like, this chapter, 2 models of the criminal process. Let's have a more exciting book title. I mean, it might be interesting. It might be like, ooh, this is how we deal with crime, which there is some interesting stories, but it might help me understand my criminal justice course more, which I'm all for, because I'm doing all right, but not great. Okay, here we go. This one has a back. Oh my god, alright. So, I'm gonna say it's Nissi, The Quiet Americans, The Story of the People, with a new afterword. So that's exciting. But yeah, it's this guy's name, which I don't know how to pronounce. So I will now just be calling it N. Because it's him, I think. I don't know. I haven't read the book. Immigrants to here's the back. Immigrants to the United States rarely have an easy time, but none have experienced more discrimination than the Japanese. They first arrived in California nearly 150 years ago to establish a tea and silk farm colony. Those who followed were denied citizenship, ownership of land, and entrance into certain professions. During World War II, some 120,000 Japanese Americans were torn from their homes in the western United States and sent to concentration camps on the assumption that their ethnic background made them security risks. Mr. N is what I'm going to call him. Mr. N is the story of this American minority. Hailed at the time of its publication in 1969, Mr. N remains an inspirational account of the original Japanese immigrants and their role in the development of the West. The book recounts the ordeals faced by the immigrants' generation and their American-born offspring, the ill-advised government decisions that led to their uprooting, how they survived a harsh camp life, and their courageous efforts to prove loyalty to the United States. Since World War II, Japanese Americans have achieved exceptional social, economic, and political progress. Their accomplishments since 1969 are presented in a new afterword, which details the efforts that led to apologies by 4 U.S. presidents for the wartime injustice, redress through the landmark Civil Liberties Act of 1988, and the transformation of Japanese Americans from despised security risks to respected Americans. This one might be the most interesting one. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not good at history. I don't know. It might be interesting. I'll tell you. I'll tell you about it. I promise. This is the one that she said was not the most exciting one. But I love the card on it, because it's, Pretty Women Not Ignored for once, and, like, let's go. Pretty Women, let's go. But let's open it and see what we got. Ooh, this is so exciting. Ooh, they put a lot of wrapping on this. Portraits of American Women from Settlement to the Present. Ooh, this might be exciting. I don't know. They don't have the thingy on the back again. But it might be interesting. We have this lovely woman back here. I'm only saying because I think it's funny. Helen Gogdam Douglas, who I've never heard of, but she looks excited to be alive, which is great. Let's see what the first woman in this book is, because that might be exciting. Pocahontas is in here. That's exciting. I didn't know that they proved that Pocahontas was a real woman. Oh, here we go. Okay. So we have the contents, right? And it's Colonial Beginnings, which contains Pocahontas and Anne Hutchinson. Many Revolutions, which is Elisa Lucas Pinckney, Nancy Ward, Phyllis Wheatley, Mercy Otis Warren. The Flowering of Antebellum Culture, which is Maria Weston Chapman, Catherine Beecher, Margaret Fuller. Divided Loyalties, which is Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Mary Lincoln Todd, Varnia Howell Davis, Charlotte Fortin. The Reform Era, Charlotte Perkins Gilman, Jane Addams, Ida Wells Barnett. The Transition to Modernity, Rose Snyderman, Crystal Eastman, Alice Paul. New Horizons, Eleanor Roosevelt, Georgia O'Keeffe, Margaret Mead. And then Contemporary Lives, which is Helen Gagnon Douglas, which we talked about, Ella Baker, and Betty Friedan. And they're all written by different people, so some of them might be interesting. We'll see. We're gonna start with Funny Racist Old White Men, Crooked Politicians with Crookeder Teeth. I love these little things these make the book seems exciting. Let's open it. I really wish I had more exciting. I love it. Oh my god. Look at the people on the book. Oh, that's exciting. The Oxford Book of British Political Anecdotes. This might be interesting. Oh my god. Oh, and we have a front and a back cover. Oh, this is so exciting. Okay. Renowned journalist and best-selling author Paul Johnson here presents some 300 anecdotes and guides the reader along with succinct and informative commentaries from Richard III's murder of the princes in the Tower of London to a final frosty scene between Jim Galligan and Barbara Castle. The stories range from the sublime to the ridiculous, from the witty to the sobering, from the gratifying to the positively alarming. Here, Lloyd George's assessment of Churchill: he would make a drum out of the skin of his mother in order to sound his own praises. Henry VIII's tireless writings of his secretary's work: he ordered that drafts have 2.5-inch margins and inch-wide spaces between the lines to leave room for his changes. Queen Mary II's brave death from smallpox, and more. The brilliance and flaws of statesmen and politicians: Sir Thomas More, Cromwell, Sir Robert Walpole, Gladstone, Disraeli, and Attell among them are recorded by their contemporaries in journals and letters, in parliamentary records, and by later biographies. Funerals, battles in Parliament, an interview with a journalist turned forger, dinner and garden parties, the visit of a lecherous former American president, Attlee's reaction to being overtaken by a dangerous driver who proves to be his wife. The stories entertain as they provide a new historical perspective. As Johnson convincingly demonstrates in his introduction, anecdotes have proven to be a valuable source of historical truth. Details may be altered or distorted, and occasionally lost in the romance of invention, but more often than not, in essentials, they prove accurate and telling, and it is the stories, strange, eccentric, personal, that we remember long after the dates of battles and monarchs have gone out of our heads. Ooh, this is exciting. Oh, this is very nice. I'm very excited to hear what this book has to say about, was it Richard III killing the princes in the tower? That was an interesting story, to say the least. I'm trying to see if I can... See, okay, here's an example. We're going to read 21. Cecil versus Essex. Sir Robert Cecil is reported to be very busy coming and going often between London and the Queen, so he is appeareth with his hands full of papers and his head full of matter, and so occupied passeth through the presence chamber like a blind man not looking upon any. That was not very exciting, but surely there's got to be some stories. Yeah, this will be fun. This will be I like history when it's funny. I just don't like history when it's boring. I'm depressed too. Let's go to the movies is the next one we're gonna open. Because this also, I'm a technical theater major, and this seemed exciting. We're in the money. Depression America and its films. That's exciting. Okay. Looking at the figures for movie attendance in the 1930s, one might conclude that the America of the Great Depression was a land of Borgias, gems, Operiums, Strands, and Rivieras. Americans needed their movies, as Mr. Burgum notes, and they needed them not just for escape. In We're in the Money, Mr. Burgum looks at the films of the 30s, many of which we now regard as classics, and shows how Hollywood helped prop up the nation's fundamental institutions during the gravest economic crisis in history. Movies, he demonstrates, kept alive the myth of the mobile and classless society, focused on the endless possibilities for individual success, turned social evil into personal evil, and made the New Deal into a veritable leading man. The kind of book that both old film buffs and the new post-grads of Sesame Street can really enjoy. It makes film fun. It makes history fun, enables teachers and kids to test out their own assumptions about how the 30s turned out the gangsters, the high steppers, the FBI gurus, and the zany anarchists, and the mythical down-on-the-farm good guys who took on the whole punchy and reeling microcosm of America. This is exciting. Like, it's just, I think this is going to be neat. Oh, okay. A musical interlude is one of the chapters. I was trying to see if they had any, actual of the movies, but they don't. It's just, you can pause it here, but that's the table of contents. But yeah, oh my god, I love history when it actually is interesting. I don't know if the books that were in the bag, not the first one, but then the next 5, I don't know if those are going to be for me. I much prefer a witty. Oh, I didn't read this one. Okay. Are you the smart ass of your friends is on the front. And then on the back is, well, become smart assier. And that's speaking my language. The Superior Person's Book of Words, from Obsidian to something I can't say. An arsenal of verbal weapons to sharpen your wits. Exciting. Amaze your friends, baffle your enemies, and write inter-office memos to end all discussion. Are you an Anglophile? Stout fellow. Just stand at the springboard and leave the fields of Hopinjay jabber and tongue-stumped battleology behind forever. Step up for big dividends in the giddy heights of superior speech. Peter Bowler will teach you the practical riches of saying it well with good words, neglected words, precise words for vocabulary exaltation. Who exactly is Peter Bowler? And then they go into who he is. But this book might be exciting too. Oh my god. They do. It's literally It's a book. It's a dictionary, but for sounding smart. Aliophage is a garlic eater. And I feel personally like I'm going to start calling people garlic eaters. Be like, you garlic eater. Just because it's stupid and funny. But this video has been going on for a little bit too long, but I really hope that you enjoy my unboxing. I'm sorry that it was all history books this time. Hopefully I'll have something more exciting next time. But some of these sounded quite interesting. So I will definitely get back to you on that. See what I make of them. If you've read any of these books, comment down below or on the Twitter. And we can have a nice discussion about it. And I'm excited. Okay, I love you all. Have a good night, guys. Bye-bye.